we're back. Now, last time I left off, we had just gotten done with the tutorial. So here's the game proper coming up. And I'm interested to know how it is. Alright, last left off, we're in Torzag's shelter. What am I doing here? Okay. I haven't been here yet, the faction page. Let's see what we have. I have to read up on the guilds and houses here still, because I don't know who I want to support or work for. I think we'll get to that now. Well, that's the journal. I need the codex. It's not telling me anything about the individual houses yet. I just got House Oquo here. I wonder what these little symbols mean. Go to Kernak Way Station, wherever that is. Oh, there it is. Okay, so 8-day round trip. And This might be worth it. I have one more space here for cargo. I want to see what Kernek Way Station would want from here. Pottery, maybe. Yeah, pottery seems like the only thing here that Kernek would want to buy from Torzag's shelter. Not much, but maybe doable. Rumor. I don't know what archiving does, but I'm going to archive everything here. Roll out. What's this? You approach the mighty gates of Torzag's shelter. One can see the scorching desert sky loom above the cruel black battlements. As the Comitatus takes its place in a long line at the vast gate, you notice a lean woman dressed in a bureaucrat's tunic and a cape approach one of your guards and talk to him briefly. They walk up to you soon afterward. Apologies, Vagrus, the woman says, bowing her head politely. I work for the Magistrate of Tax Collection. No need to be alarmed. I am here to present you an opportunity. I have a message attached to some documents that needs to be delivered to Arkin, to a client of ours. Should you take the message, you'll be compensated upon handing it over. What say you? She offers you a leather document case. Where the hell's Arkin? Eastern edge of the Koros Forest. Marble. Huh. Arkin, where's that at? Dead forest. Unnamed forest. The fungal waste. What's a modern fantasy game without mushroom trees? I'm not complaining. Door and Dulles. Huh. I don't know if I'm able to find that place. Oh, there it is. Well, I guess she doesn't specify a time limit. Yeah, sure. Thank you, Vagrus. I am sure it'll be worth your time. Our client is a very resourceful man who works for a researcher of some renown. He awaits the message in the town of Arkin, to the north, where he rents a small apartment above a tobacco shop on Siltwaite Street. His name is Levantius. With that, she hands over the leather case, bows her head, and takes her leave. You can see her approach the guards, talk to them briefly, point at you, then walk away. After storing the case with your personal belongings, you signal the Comitatus to move on towards the city gate. Guards usher you through without an inspection. I'm not going up there just now. Follow the road. Uh-oh. Probably be more cautious. Oh, I lost a scout. Somehow. That sucks. I did make some money, alright. Sell wine at a profit. The gates are closed now. I need to buy more scouts. Let's see. Mushroom beer. Nope. Ah, shit, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, how much going on here? To make some money at least. Maybe I don't need to do this so much on the actual road. But now that I said that, and if I'm reckless on the road, maybe I'll run across brigands or something, you know? Devon. Remember that? City or town or whatever of Devon. No, that's looks like a string of missions. Vagrus, okay. Oh, that's one thing I forgot to do. Where's that guy again? Market District. Sprawling over a dozen blocks close to the city gate, the Market District is a bustling, crowded place where you can buy and sell almost anything imaginable. Anyone entering the labyrinth of stalls, shops, and bazaars is constantly bombarded by a wide range of strong smells and invaded by the competing shouts of peddlers and salesmen. Visit the Kalrish Market, listen to news and rumors circulating. See how Brax's store. Do that. You make your way to the part of the Market District that lies just east of the Kalrish Market. It takes a while to locate the statue of Mercatus overlooking a dried up fountain carved of dark stone, but when you do find it, you can see that the shop is indeed right where Agos said it would be. Huddled between two taller, decrepit buildings, Braxius' storefront is not much to look at. Only his name is written on the stone slab above the doorway. No sign, no display, no stall, nothing. Inside is a dark little room with a dirty counter, a strange odor, nondescript trash that barely passes for wares, and a demonkin fellow, fiddling absent-mindedly with some gadget. He looks up as you enter. "What can I do you for?" he says with a ghoulish grin. He can't help it. He has pointed teeth, a big nose, and a crown of jagged horns that not only adorns the top of his head, but also the sides of his jaws. His eyes burn with a pale orange light, and he is surrounded with an almost palpable aura of nervousness. "Surely, this cannot be the man you were guided to? Are you Braxius?" "Oh yeah, in the flesh." Braxius bows his head theatrically. "You explained to him that an old wanderer called Agos told you to come to him if you wanted to find the right people for a comitatus." Braxius smiles his fiendish smile upon hearing your story. "Indeed, I do specialize in connecting such people. I might have something you will find useful and even help you in getting them to join you. And I go August, so there. Everybody wins. Ask him who he can get and what this will cost you. Tell me I am interested. There's a lady with a very special skill set I have in mind for you. Not only is she really good at finding her way across the wasteland, but also comes in handy in a fight and can track down basically anyone, or so they say. She's a bounty hunter. I was told she is looking for a comitatus to join, so that she can traverse the realms and claim bounties as she does. I also heard that she may have some kind of connection to the Imperials, but you'll have to ask her about that yourself. Her name is Krifta. When you ask him about what you owe him for this, he simply shakes his head. Nothing. Like I said, I owe August, and he told me that I could pay him back by aiding people he sends to me. Odd, right? Well, not so much really. At any rate, I can arrange a meeting with Krifta for you. Tell him you want to meet Krifta. Minutes after you tell Braxius that you wish to meet this Krifta, he has closed down the shop and is leading you to where you can talk to the woman. You soon arrive at a stinking watering hole at the end of an alley somewhere between the market district and the Undercity. The sign has a feeding carrion bird on it. Underneath, crooked letters spell out the name The Grinding Gizzard. You find a quiet table in a corner while Braxius gets you a couple of drinks. By the time you finish the first, a woman walks up with a strange gait and greets you. Krifta looks like a cross between a human and some kind of carrion bird. Clearly the result is a taint. She observes you with large beady eyes and clacks her beak before addressing you in an almost chirping voice. So, they say that you are recruiting. Are you in need of a scout and tracker? Then I can offer my services. Krifta here has been all around the continent. She's tough as nails and knows how to hunt down beasts and even men, adds Braxius. It's true what the demon spawn says, Vagrus, but I can see that you have questions, Krifta says, clacking her beak a few times. You have questions. Krifta lets out a strange squawk that might be a chuckle. Ask away, Vagrus. Ask her about her past. Krifta shifts uncontrollably in her chair. Very bold, Vagrus, very bold. Trust is not something easily earned, and I am not sure I trust you enough to divulge old stories and old secrets. Braxius assures her that you only wish to hear a general outline and not mean to pry. All right, then. The bounty hunter clacks her beak and cocks her head to one side. I was not always a bounty hunter or mercenary, obviously. I used to live out in the wasteland. Used to hang out with bandits and even worse filth. I had to survive, and I always did. Eventually, I got fed up with being ordered around by brutes, so I left, figuring I could use my skills to survive on my own and even make a living. Krifta crosses her arms. And so I started hunting, beasts and people too. There's not much difference, Vagrus, really. And yes, the irony of that considering how I look does not escape me. Yet that has become my profession, and I'm proud to be good at it. There may be other things you wanted to talk about. Ask about her skills and abilities. I'm handy with the bow. I use it to down most of my prey, be it man or beast. She muses for a while before going on. So yes, I am a hunter, a tracker, and a survivalist. I have all the related skills, one that help out here the most in the Broken Lands. She is being modest, Captain, Braxius intervenes. Actually, Krifta here is quite a renowned bounty hunter and marksman. Also, a huntress like her and your crew could provide all kinds of benefits, like allowing you to save on supplies as she gets you fresh food regularly. Krifta does not say anything. She just bows her head slightly. Ask about her connection to the Empire. Upon hearing the question, Krifta looks markedly at Braxius, but it is difficult to tell what she thinks. I work for the Empire often. She looks back to you. And so I have a good reputation with Imperial bounty hunting associations. I also may owe a certain official a favor or two. Nothing that would get you in trouble. But I may have to work on the side when we stop here and there. I figured it would be part of our cooperation. Why she wants me on the road. I thought it was quite obvious, Krifta says, blinking. My work, that of a bounty hunter, takes me across the wasteland to faraway places all the time. Prey flees and tries to hide out there most of the time. I often travel alone, but lately I had rough encounters on the road, so I figured it is worth teaming up with others. Your comitatus seems promising. It's all time to decide. And what is your decision? Do you need my services? Krifta clacks her beak excitedly. Braxius looks at you expectantly as he speaks. There is a matter of a small fee you pay to Krifta, too. It is standard procedure in these cases, Captain. Pay her 3 werg. Try to haggle. Never mind the money, Krifta says as she rises and clacks her beak loudly. A few coins are not worth falling out over, huh? Also, there is a job I was offered, Vagrus. You might be interested in becoming partners? We can talk about this later. I'll meet you at the Manzio. The sooner we leave the city, the better. She leaves as you down the rest of your drink. Braxius asks you to return to his shop with him. When you arrive, he turns to you. Now that the Krifta business is taken care of, I can help you recruit another fellow. There are 2 options, in fact. Want to hear me out? Is this assistance for free, too? Unfortunately, no, he says with a malicious grin. When you remind him that he was willing to find you the first recruit for free, he shakes his head. That is not how it works, Captain. That was much easier to arrange. These options, however, will take more effort on my part. Calling in favors, a little bribe here or there, you know, the usual. So will you owe me for this? Still interested? Hear him out. Alright, good. So there are 2 fellows here in Torzags that I can put you in contact with. Both have their own problems, so to say, that they are trying to solve. I can help you solve their problems for them. One, that is. I can help you with one of the 2, and you owe me for this. You ask him about the 2 individuals in question. One is a dwarf, and a particularly nasty one at that, but don't you get discouraged. Given the right motivation, all that nastiness can be directed towards your foes, Captain. He is a specialist when it comes to dwarfy stuff. You know, scrounging, smuggling, hoarding, business in general. And he's connected. He knows a lot of people in low places, huh? The demon-kin pawnbroker scratches the base of a horn before going on. The other one is an orc, and a tough one even for his kind. He's somewhat of a celebrity around these parts. Won a few gladiator tournaments years ago, but then he started to train folks who wanted to become warriors rather than warrioring around himself, and I guess now he's fed up with that and wants to travel and fight again. A real champ, you know? Braxius is silent for a moment, scratching the base of one of his horns. Nothing for a while, but then I'll turn to you with a request. This will most certainly involve extensive travel, which is amazing because you do that by default. And I swear to you that the request will be comparative in scope to the service I now provide with getting you a great traveling companion. Do we have a deal, Captain? I don't know what to pick. I'm leaning towards a dwarf. Braxius gives you one of his predatory smiles. Good, good. As I said, Garrick is a dwarf and, naturally, a businessman. However, his business has seen some trouble lately. So much so, Captain, that the little twerp is deep in shit, and if you want to help him, you need to pluck him out of it. Normally, this would mean forking over a substantial amount of coins, of the silver variety, to settle his extensive debts, but I can deal with that on my own way, yet in your name, and you would get the dwarf's gratitude and services. You would owe me a favor in turn, as I've indicated. You give it a thought, but after a few moments, Braxius clears his throat. Do we do this, Captain? Yeah, sure. Now we're talking, Captain. The pawnbroker claps excitedly. All right, you just go about your business now. I need an hour or so to get things done. When you feel like it afterward, make your way to the old bathhouse in the Undercity. Normally, only the friends of the Loaders Guild may enter to do business with the Collegium, but tell them at the gate that you are there for Garrick, and you were sent by yours truly. They will hand over the dwarf, and you could tell him how it was you who paid all his debts. I believe that he'll be little convincing to join your crew after that. You nod, and prepare to take your leave, thanking Braxius for his aid. Don't thank me yet, Captain, and before you forget, you owe me, and a day will come when I'll need your aid. He winks and sits down behind the counter. You're out of the shop and on the street again. Undercity. The bathhouse. Looking for someone. Everything changes when you mention the name of Braxius and the fact that you are here for Garrick. The guards become friendly, and is that a relief in their voices? Two of them escort you through corridors, marble halls, and hot steam rising from the baths to a back area of storerooms and cells. There they open up a cell with iron keys and shake a smelly dwarf from his sleep. The fuck now? The belligerent fellow growls if he's rubbing his eyes. Come to suck some dwarf cock? His captors are clearly not amused by his shenanigans. A quick slap to the back of his balding head silences him, though he quietly swears revenge. 'Tis the one. We're told he no longer owns the capo, so he's all yours. You are escorted back to the entrance with the dizzy dwarf in tow. Just when you're about to leave through the gate arch, the dwarf notices something and it yanks him out of his quiet stupor. He leaps surprisingly quickly to the side of one of the guards and grabs something on his belt and tears it off. Before the guards could reach, he begins shouting, "You fucking bastards! Thought you could steal this and get away with it? I'll tear you a new one!" Garrick appears to be holding some kind of an object, golden and with a complicated design. The guards are shocked and getting angry, but the sight of the red-faced dwarf in the object, as well as their orders, gives them pause. Alrighty. The one who had the object in his belt says eventually, "Keep the damn thing. It ain't good for anything anyway." There's a cold metallic click echoing down the marble corridor. A moment of silence follows. The guards look flabbergasted, small droplets of sweat forming on their foreheads. I'll keep it all right, Garrick hisses. It's mine, and I'll make sure you fuckers will remember that. Tensions mount as the dwarf points one end of the device towards the guards. Then he looks at you, and it appears to have an effect on him. He sticks the device into his crossbelt and shuffles out onto the street, mumbling another time. You follow him down the street where he beckons you into a cheap watering hole. An hour later, Garrick and you are sitting idly, sipping mushroom wine in the tavern. You have explained to him how you got him out of Collegium captivity and settled his debt. He's quite calm now, thoughtful even. Perhaps it's time to ask questions. Ask him what happened to him. Garrick makes a grimace. I got royally fucked in the arse, that's what happened, he said, clearly irritated. So-called business associates of mine conspired to bring me down, the bastards. All because I was more successful than them. I was drawn into a promising deal and then I was betrayed. I lost everything. Garrick strikes the table with his fist in anger. The barkeep reaches for a club, but the dwarf smiles apologetically and raises his hands as a gesture of peace. Anyway, that's the short version. Then I couldn't pay the damn loaders, yada yada. I tried to get out of the city, but they pinched me, and I've been sitting in that fucking cell ever since, until you came. Asking about his device. Oh, this? He puts the device on the table. A wooden thing embossed with gold. Something like a tiny crossbow without the limbs. A terrible magical weapon, mate. I use an incantation and you'll be cursed so bad you'll beg for death. There's a pause. Eventually, Garrick laughs out loud. You impaled me, you did. He laughs for a few more seconds, rubbing his eyes, then leans back in his chair, considers you for a few moments. It's a pistol, alright? A ballistic weapon. My kin used to be able to make them, you know, using black powder. Very rare these days, as you know, since my ancestors got themselves cooked right and proper. But some of these little fellas remain, and I got my hands on one. Don't bother trying to buy it or anything. Only I can use it properly. And you see how handy it comes. Oh, aye. What's he planning to do now? The plan is... Garrick trails off for a moment. The plan is to get back what is mine. Sooner or later. For now, I wouldn't mind getting out of this damn shithole. I suppose you'll want me to work for you. It's fine. I gotta start rebuilding and busying myself. So, the dwarf downs the last few gulps of his drink. I guess you haven't freed me. You have freed me from me good looks and charm, huh? I know how that goes. I work for you. And you'll see how fucking good I'm at what I do. But I ain't working for free, no. That ain't me. You agree on standard wages. Garrick seems content. It's best I take me leave of the damn shelter for a while anyways. And I got favors to call on all over the region. I'm gonna go grab my stuff. I got some hidden stashes these fuckers never got close to finding, and I'll see you at the Manzio. He must have seen the down in your face because he adds, I ain't gonna bolt if that's what you're afraid of. A little trust here, huh? I do the same. It ain't easy to put me trust in anyone after what happened. You leave the watering hole and go about your business. Garrick is a dwarf of his word, it seems. You do meet him at the Manzio, all packed up and ready to go. valuable in Arkin. Assuming. Take a chance. Go to Arkin. There's a strain on your cards. Still. We have one at a time. I think we're good to go. Slightly northwest. How the hell did I lose it? Okay. Event. The sky is overcast as you arrive at a clearing within the stone forest, occupied by a congregation of mounds from which dull, monotonous chanting and a somber pounding of drums can be heard. Dark, lean poles carved out of the bones of some large animal rise from the top of the hills, and you see tribal banners flail in the wind. Approaching a bit further, you glimpse a small group of orcs traveling or gathered around a hillock with a hole dug in its side. In their midst, a prone figure lies on a stretcher surrounded by diverse ornaments, jugs, and weapons. You realize that you have come upon a funeral, but something seems wrong. If you are not mistaken, the mourners are clearly arguing about something. It looks like the majority of the group is in disagreement with a single young-looking orc whom, based on his attire, you recognize to be a shaman. The rituals of orcs are none of your concern, you believe. Stay where you are and observe the events from a distance. Get closer. Get closer. Curiously enough, the orcs argue in the common language, so you understand what they are saying. The young shaman is up against a whole group of mean-looking, angry orcs. He tries to placate them in a calm yet determined manner. But understand, Shunlock, this isn't the right way. I only want the best for Broadmarn, he says. It is the old way, Morgorn. The leader of the mourners replies, the proper way. Broadmarn must be laid to rest as he lived in order to receive his due reward in the afterlife, amidst a haze of blood and swirling weapons. The snakehead warband won't stand for anything else. That won't help at all. In fact, I believe he is already damned, and even my ritual would give him a small chance to find peace. Is there a passive way? Squabble, no concern. What's this? Some of these trinkets the orcs have about to bury the dead look rather precious. Order the comitatus to move a bit further away and gather for your companions. Wait for nightfall. Have a look. Join the argument. Why not? It isn't particularly hard to find a good hiding spot between the burial mounds, one which keeps you well out of sight but lets you observe the comings and goings of the shaman. For most of the day, he tends to the graves and performs small rituals. Then at night, as night descends, he retreats to a small shack at the edge of the cemetery. You leave one lookout behind to signal you should he emerge. Then descend with your companions to the graves. All is dark and silent. Made it. Without making the slightest noise, you sneak up to the fresh grave and even manage to remove the stone a bit so you can nimbly slip inside. You gather as much ceremonial trinkets as you can, then seal them out again. You are still undetected. What now? I'm not going to press my luck. What I get? Obsidian and ivory. I can't even. I did that for nothing. Oh. I made a mistake. Three large marble obelisks stand silently where the Emperor's Road and the Windway meet. Sometimes comitati stop here before continuing their arduous journeys north, south, or east. The standing stones care little for such visitors, for they have witnessed so many of their short-lived kind pass by. The whistling of the wind and the swirling dust never ceases here. More road to meet. This is it, the grand junction where the Emperor's Road meets the Windway, where all comes together, a throbbing heart of the whole region. It is rather disappointing. Three lean standing stones, each about 60 feet high, surround the crossroads. Impressive as they may be simply there for their sheer size, they are otherwise featureless, and there is nothing else of interest here. At least not at the moment. You know for a fact that this can be quite a busy site, as a lot of other comitati and travelers pass through here, often making camp for the night. Examine, look around. Send out a few scouts and even look around a bit yourself. After some searching, you you come upon a set of tracks. Nothing curious in itself, given that the soil is trampled upon by dozens of feet at any given time. But these were apparently left by a single person, not a large group of people. And even more importantly, they don't follow any of the main roads but lead off into the wasteland. Follow. You track the footprints for a while, and just as you start to think they are hopelessly lost in the sand, you spy a small object not far ahead, a hut of some sort if you're not mistaken. But who in their right mind would dwell in such a desolate place? Investigate. You can see it is not much of a shack as you get closer, but merely an awning riddled with holes fastened to some sticks that can be adjusted to give shelter from the wind as a need arises. A small fire, really rather just embers, glimmers before it. Strewn around there are some frugal belongings, an earthenware bowl, a flask, a few crude instruments. Sitting by the fire is a scrawny woman dressed in rags. Her age is hard to tell because of all the dirt covering her and the shaggy mop of hair partly concealing her face, but she is certainly not young. Still, her eyes sparkle with astonishing vitality, and she doesn't seem to be surprised or startled by your presence in the least. "Pray tell, wanderer," she addresses you. You don't happen to have some spare grub on you for poor Buka of the Wastes? I am a wee bit hungry and thirsty. The last few weeks haven't been kind." "Who are you and what are you doing here all alone?" Questions. "However, I am quite famished. Now, would you mind giving me a few scraps of food, maybe some water? No pressure there, of course. I know times are hard." "How much?" "2, yeah, sure." "Oh, bless her good soul," she says after some eager gulps of water. "Buka is ever so grateful." You ask her who she is and how she survives here all by herself. Questions. "Hush now, I am mighty tired, but you've been kind to me. Come back sometime later, and who knows, Buka might even have answers for you, or even other things to trade for your help. A lot of curious goods tend to fall off their carts around these parts." Your first impulse is to question her further, but you can see it would be no use. Munching on her newly acquired food, she retreats to underneath her awning, humming a quiet tune, staring into the distance and not paying you any further attention. Maybe it is better if you indeed come back a little later, if at all. The giant pointed obelisks are made of marble and stand on large round pedestals, covered in dust from the plains. You try to look for differences between them, however subtle, but can't make out anything. Surprising, not even graffiti. Although one would assume that countless passerby would leave their marks on them, they loom indifferently over the crossroads, apparently not bothered by the comings and goings of mortals and the marchings of time. He's lingering here. Nothing going on. Well, I'm gonna cut it short for today. I got stuff to do. I loaded here, didn't it? Okay, yeah. Alright, but I'll try to be on